Hello everyone, welcome to the Online Open Day here at Han University of Applied Science. We're so happy to have you joining us today. My name is Jufi, I'm from Indonesia and I'm a second year communications student. Now we're going to talk about the classes, the campus, and the student support. But I'm not alone, I have two special guests here with me today. Hi everyone.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, before we start, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Mikaela. I'm from the international office.
Well, and I'm Alex. I'm an international student at Han as well in Arnhem, and I'm in my third year.
Yeah, thank you everyone. It's really nice to have you here. By the end of our talk, we're going to have a Q&A session, so you can leave your questions on the chat box and we'll get back to it later. So yeah, let's get started with the first question of today. So Alex, as a student here, what was your reason for you to come and study at Han?
That's a good question. Well, I would like to start with that I found Arnhem quite a nice city, but also besides, I found Han having a great international community and offering a lot of support facilities for the student, and that attracted me a lot, honestly.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I also have the similar reason why. Before I came here, I opened the Han website, and I see they show a lot of like from all around the world, and I also see the student pictures with all different ethnicity that really show the diversity. That is also one of the main reasons for me to come and study here at Han. So, can you describe a little bit more about your average week classes at Han?
Hmm. Well, as you know, at least for my program, I'm in a full-time program, so I would say that my average week of classes is usually around 40 hours, self-study and classes on campus. Usually the classes represent 1/3 of the time that I spend on site, and the rest is self-study, usually done throughout the week.
Yeah,
So yeah,
so yeah, there's the division between the lectures and the self-study session.
yes.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to show a slide about what's the difference of applied sciences university like the Han and the research university. So the question is, as I mentioned before, Mikaela, maybe you could answer this question. What is the difference between a university of applied sciences like the Han and a research university?
Yes, of course. A University of Applied Sciences is practice-based, so you're learning theory in classes and you're putting it into practice during your internships. That's the biggest focus. And then a research university is research-based, so you're focusing more on the whys and the hows of your study.
So applied sciences university is more focused on applying the theory into practice. So it's more
Yes,
practical.
exactly. Right.
Yeah, okay. So, like as a student here studying at Han, what is the division between your practice and your theory? Is it balanced? Is it more into practicals, or how is it?
Well, it kind of depends and it varies throughout the years. But in the first 2 years, you have classes which have theory, but then you also have classes where you apply the theory into a project, most of the times related to a real life company. And in the third and the fourth year, to put the theory that you studied really into practice, you have internships where you really work with real companies and you can experience their environment.
Nice. All during the first year you all study theory, and then the second you start applying all the theory.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's nice.
It's amazing.
So, with all those theories and the practicals, how many hours do you spend studying per week?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, that it's a full-time course.
Yeah. Yeah.
I spend around more or less between 20, 30 hours, depending also how many classes, but it includes also projects and everything. So that allows me to have also free time to enjoy the student life.
Does that also include the self-study session?
Yes,
Yes.
includes
Okay.
everything.
Nice. So next we're going to show a slide about the grading system at Han. So what does the exam looks like, and how does the grading system work? Is it like using like A plus B, or is it like numbers like 7? Maybe Mikaela could answer these questions.
Yes, of course. Well, first, about the assessment processes, you have written exams, but you also have some, depending on your program,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
also have some verbal exams. But in general, it's a numeric system, so 1 through 10.
Okay.
Some exams, depending on your course again, is you can get a sufficient or insufficient for your exam grades.
What is insufficient score and what is sufficient score like?
Yes.
What the student needs to get?
Of course.
Yeah.
In the Netherlands, they have this joke that it's a six culture.
Six
So
culture?
it's a 5.5.
Okay.
5.5 is a pass, and then you're good.
Okay, 5.5 is a pass. Okay, it's good. So as as Alex and I mentioned before, that one of the reasons why we study here is because of the international environment, because of the diversity. So I'm curious, how international is it actually at Han?
We actually have a approximate 10% of our student population is international,
Okay.
and that borders across 100 different nationalities.
100 nationalities all around, which is really diverse environment, which is really
Yes.
cool. The fact that you can study with all different cultures in one class is a really great opportunity. Yeah. Next, we're going to show a slide about the study abroad map. So the question is, what are the opportunities to go abroad during your study? Is that possible to go abroad?
Yes, of course. So we have also, depending on your program
Yeah.
and the requirements, you can go abroad to multiple different countries. We have a lot of partner universities. You can go on exchange for an internship or a minor.
Okay, so now, Alex, as a student here, have you been or are you planning to study abroad?
Well, due to the COVID, that was when I started my studies, I couldn't go abroad because also the regulations, it was kind of tough to travel.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking to do my last year internship abroad. And I'm also having some countries in my mind. I'm thinking about maybe New Zealand or US. That would be
Okay.
a eye-opening experience to get even more insights about cultures.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Next, we're going to talk about the campuses. So, first question for Alex, because you study international business, which the campus is located in Arnhem.
Yes.
So, what was your first impression of the Arnhem campus?
Well, I come from Romania, where I can say that universities are not so developed technologically. And when I came here and I saw all the developments that are in here and all the facilities that are for students and all the opportunities that you have there, I was like a newborn watching the world, and it was just exploring, and I was really impressed and had a huge shock in a positive way.
Okay. Mikaela, maybe could you share your first impression for the campus in Nijmegen, maybe?
Yes, of course. In Nijmegen, it's a very busy atmosphere.
Busy atmosphere, yeah.
Because the cafeteria is the main area where everyone sits.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you're walking around, there's always there's always people around.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's a bright space. It's fun.
Yeah, as you guys see, we have pictures of the campus. So, can you describe a little bit more about how the campus looked like from the inside? Like what's inside the campus, inside the building?
Well, inside the campus, you will find, as mentioned, a cafeteria, but also you can find a lot of study rooms.
Yeah.
Also, you can find a room that's called base camp, where students usually gather to socialize, but also to study and do all type of activities. Besides, you have, of course, the classes, but you also have a store where you can get there the materials that are required for you to follow up your courses.
Is there any other facilities such as maybe like a sport hall? Is there?
Actually, there's quite a difference in campuses in Nijmegen and Arnhem. As Alex already mentioned, Arnhem, I'll just talk a bit about Nijmegen.
Yeah.
In Nijmegen, there are different things, also the library, ASCON. You also have theater rooms,
Okay,
music
interesting.
rooms where
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
practice music. Here in Arnhem, you actually have a garage for automotive.
Podcast. We also have a
We
podcast.
also
Yeah,
indeed
yeah,
have
yeah.
a podcast room here in Arnhem. So there's media rooms where you can record and do things. Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Like, is there any sporting facilities, a
Any
sport
sporting
hall?
yes.
Yeah.
Depending on your program,
Yeah,
there might be a sport hall. But mainly Nijmegen partners with the Radboud.
Okay.
They have a very big sports center, and you can get a sports card, and you can go there and use all of their facilities. It ranges from sword fighting, fencing,
Yeah.
to rock climbing.
Yeah.
And then here in Arnhem, you can get a sports card, and you can visit different facilities around Arnhem, and you can do Pilates, yoga, boxing.
Yeah. And also Arnhem and Nijmegen is near between the cities, so you can just go if you want to go to Nijmegen, or the Nijmegen student wants to go to Arnhem. It's really near. It's 15 minutes by train, if I'm not mistaken. So it's really convenient, right? So what about place to study? Is there a lot of place to study being provided at the campuses?
Yes, there are actually quite a lot. At least from my experience, I can say that almost everywhere you go in a campus, you will find at least a small quiet room where to study. There are also bigger rooms where you can study in groups to work on the projects, but there also are smaller rooms where you can study by yourself or only with one friend. But there is also the library, which where you can just go and sit with more people to study, and you also have all the materials accessible and they are next to you, so it makes studying really efficient and effective.
Is it also the same from the campus in Nijmegen?
Yeah, in Nijmegen you have different study areas. You can reserve rooms, like Alex mentioned, and you can study in there. And yeah, the library is a nice place.
Han really provide us with a place to study because they really want us to have our self-study session as we mentioned before. So there's a lot of, you can even reserve a room to study with your group, or even you want to study by yourself, there's an individual room also being provided, which is really cool. What about place to eat and drink? Is there any cafeteria or canteen here in the campuses?
Yeah, we have different cafeterias. We also have cafes.
Okay.
On both campuses, there are also bars that you can go at a certain point. They also serve some drinks. You can have lunch, dinner, actual meals. But in the main halls, there's the cafeterias and a couple cafes.
And building on that, we also have a lot of a vending machine all over the campuses. So if you just want to grab some snack or some drink, you can just go to the vending machine. But we also, as you mentioned before, we have a cafeteria, we have a canteen if you want to have a meal. So it's a really nice during the break time to have to eat and drink. Personally, what is your favorite spot on campus?
Well, now that I'm thinking, I actually have two spots, of course.
Yeah.
The first one is the base camp, the room that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Because I love because you also have all these events, you also have all the socializing and interactions with the student, but also it's nice when it's emptier, that you can also study in there, and it gives you a really student vibe when you study there. But after I'm done studying, I love to go to a bar and then to enjoy a drink to finish the day with it. So.
Okay, before you mention base camp, what is that? Is that a room? Is that a study room? Or is that a classroom? What is that base camp?
That's an open room, basically, where students can gather. And usually there are events or activities after classes where students can just socialize and they can get together. Expand your network, basically.
Yeah, it's always an interesting place to hang out with friends, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so next we're going to talk about the student support. So how do you facilitate the well-being of student, and what kind of support can student benefit from? Maybe Mikaela can answer this question.
Yes, of course. Firstly, every international student that comes to the HAN is invited to our International Welcome Day.
Yeah.
And during that day, you're giving a tour of the campus by some buddies.
Yeah.
There's also a presentation on how you can get your things situated with your documents and whatnot. We also give some workshops. You can think of the how-tos in the Netherlands, so how do you get insurance, how to bike. The international office is also always open for questions from students. You can just walk in and mostly everyone is there.
Yeah.
And then you have the Students Support Center, and of course there's AskHAN, where you can go to, or you can just send an email.
Where you can ask about everything. Yeah,
you can ask
nice,
anything,
nice. So is there some additional support from HAN to help the students specifically with their study? Before it's about the well-being, but is there any facility for the study?
Yes, you have your study career coach, and then your mentors within your program.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then also you mentioned well-being. There's a student psychologist that you can go to. There's also different facilities, like there's in Nijmegen there's a GP on campus on Tuesdays, and in both places there's a dentist that you can also visit.
Nice, cool.
So
we really have a complete student support for the student.
Definitely.
Yeah, nice. So Alex, as a student, what is your experience with some of this student support opportunities? Do you ever make use of it?
Yes, especially in the first year, I would say that I made use of them because I came here. You wake up in a new country. You're all alone, so there was always good that there was someone to help you, to also integrate into the society, to also show you places where you can expand your circle. So that was really helpful, and also to give you a guide how to start your life in here. But also a good thing that also HAN offers is the tutoring that helps the students with a backlog.
Okay.
In specific subjects, and that was a quite nice help for me in my studies.
Nice. So is there any guidance in getting internship or student job?
Yes, of course. In regards to a student job, we work with a partner, International School of I keep forgetting what it's called, but it's international student work.
Yeah.
And they can help you find a job within the Netherlands.
Okay.
But when it comes to internships, of course, depending on your program, they have their own internship offices, and you can go there with
And
your
when will
questions.
students receive that such information during the
During the international welcome day, you
international
can
week?
get
So the
them.
orientation day.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
orientation day. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, nice. So, Alex, what's your experience with the student association here at Hunt?
Well, it was quite a pleasuring one
Yeah, yeah.
because they do a lot of social activities, so it helped me to expand my circle of friends, but also my network. But they are also during the weekends, from time to time, they throw parties in a club, so you
Yeah,
can enjoy also different type of socialization besides like the more formal, informal one. So you can expand to get to know even more people.
Yeah, and do you join any student association?
No, because my time didn't allow me, because I also have a job now. And I couldn't join, even though it was on my mind.
Okay, but you joined the activity that's been provided.
Yes.
Yeah, nice, nice. So, are there any facilities of Han worth mentioning?
Actually, I do think it's worth mentioning that we do have, the HON has very many different communities within the programs. There's a Dutch Caribbean community, Honhuntu. There's a African community that's called Afrisha. You also have different Asian communities, and I do think that those are nice places to feel like you have a place to go. Like exactly. And yeah, the different partner associations that we have, like ESN in Nijmegen or ASP here in Arnhem. Those are good places that you can go and do indeed activities and to feel like you're part of something.
Yeah. So we have a lot of communities. We have a lot of fun activities for the student to join, to make friends, for them to adapt, to feel at home with their community from the same nationality. So yeah, it's really good. So, is there something you wish you knew before coming to Netherlands, Alex, as a student?
Well, I wish I knew how many opportunities this country gives you in terms of also studying, but also in terms of working along your studies. And I also wish to know about how flexible this country is, because you have a lot of flexibility, you can do your own choices, so you can find a fit for your character and your desires for the future really easy.
Yeah. Are there opportunities for students to learn Dutch here?
Yes, the HON has a learning language center, and they give courses that you can follow to learn the language. But I would also say you make use of your fellow students that do speak Dutch within your course, and like in that way you can learn the language as well. But the HON does offer a course.
Yeah, also on daily life, you're living in the Netherlands, you go to the supermarket, everyone be speaking Dutch.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's
Duolingo is also a good one.
Exactly. Yeah, nice. When did you buy the study material? Did you buy it before you came here or when you arrived in the Netherlands, Alex?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, it's 2 years since I came here, so yeah.
Did you forget about it already?
Not really forgot, but I have to think about it. Well, I think I arrived here a bit earlier before my studies started, so I had like almost 1 month before. So I just traveled a bit around Netherlands, and then I decided 2 weeks before to order my study materials because I saw they have a short delivery time. So by the time I started, I already had almost everything, I think.
Yeah, and is the study material, the book is like a digital, or you need to have a physical book to study here?
Well, sometimes you need a hard copy because some exams are open book and they require the hard copy, so that's good. But for most of the subjects, it's really helpful to have a digital one. It's also more sustainable, of course. But also it's more convenient for you because you don't have to carry so many books. So maybe just a couple are still paperback.
Yeah. There's also we also have some books provided in the library. Maybe if you come to study here at home, you can check on the library. There's a lot of study material being provided in the library. So yeah, as we mentioned before, we're going to have a Q&A session, and now is the time for you to type your question in the chat box, and we'll answer some of your questions on the Q&A session right now. So let's see. Have you received the first question here? Let us see. Yeah, we received the first question. The first question is, what is your favorite thing about the Han?
Well, I think the community would be,
The community.
because it's a community that doesn't let you feel alone and doesn't let you feel down. So I think that would be the thing that I love the most about Han, because it's kind of a home away from home.
Yeah, adding on that, I also, as the community also, and my favorite part is I would say, I keep mentioning this, but I will keep mentioning this, the diverse environment, because back home, back home I study international school, but when came here, it's even broader. There's a lot of students, and I got to know students from all around the world, and just be uh, be more like thoughtful and mindful and be respectful, because we are all from all different cultures, and I love that I can learn that opportunity, and I have that opportunity while studying at Han. So yeah, let's move on to the next question. Is there any second question? Is there anything you don't like about studying here?
I don't like. I think that's a really tough question, because generally speaking, I didn't have anything to complain, honestly.
Yeah.
Mm,
I think everything is good.
yeah, I don't have anything but
You like
come to
studying
my
at
mind.
Han?
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Perfect, nice. It's good to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I enjoy it
me
overall.
personally, I don't have anything specific. Like, everything is okay for me. I enjoy studying here with all the friends, with all the community, the activities. So
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
only the weather could be better. I think that's the only complaint I have.
yeah, maybe not toward the heart, but maybe the Netherlands
Yes.
itself. Yeah, the weather is
Yeah.
really unpredictable. Like, sometimes you can experience the whole four weather in one day, four season
Yes.
in one day, raining, windy,
Snowing.
sunny. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, I think that would be.
Yeah. Next questions we have, do you need to buy textbook, or are they available in the library?
They are also available in the library, but the library is big, but not they do not have enough books for all the students, because there are a lot of students in here. But usually it's good to buy, but you can always go to Marktplatz, that's kind of secondary market, where you can find books from previous students, or you can even get in touch with students who already finished their first year or their subject, and then you can buy the books from there with a discount price, of course.
Exactly, it's much cheaper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do we still have any other questions? Yeah, for the people at home, you still can type your question on the chat box, and we still can answer some of your questions. So, let's see, do we still have more questions? Do we still have? What was the most challenging thing you encountered when going to hunt?
It's a very good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, challenging. From a study perspective, you would like to hear, or from a personal life perspective?
Let's discuss both, but let's start with the study perspective first.
Well, the study perspective would be that it was a totally different system from what I was used, and where I'm from, we had a system where you could just study 1 week before the exam, and then you would somehow manage to pass. But here I discovered that you have to study constantly to keep up the pace. So that was, I think, the most challenging part, that to adapt to a new system. I think it's better because it always keeps your mind trained. But it was challenging to adapt to it.
Also, actually, building on that also, since like it's a University of Applied Science, not only all about exams. Sometimes we have a presentation, and sometimes we have a portfolio. So we need to stick on the deadline. We just cannot just study 1 day before the exam, or we cannot finish a portfolio 1 day before the deadline, right? So it's really
students do sometimes get lost
exactly.
in those aspects.
We need to really have a structures, time management, exactly. Well, as you mentioned before about the personal life, do you have challenge studying here personally?
It wasn't studying here specifically, but it was that I moved here. It's a different country. I moved here with no one, so I was quite lonely in the beginning till the university started, and I started meeting people. So in the beginning was, okay, I'm alone, what do I do now? So I think that was the biggest struggle, but after I got into Han community, I think that the thing changed for the best.
Yeah, nice. Okay. So maybe Mikaela, would you like to share some of your insight? Is there any challenges that you face?
I do, within the office, we do sometimes notice that students encounter some difficulties with the language, Dutch language, and also finding their way on campus. It can be kind of confusing with the room numbers and the different levels. But yeah, there's no problem in asking a question. You can always ask someone, and you can find your way. Other difficulties, I would say some students do within their program have troubles, like you mentioned, studying. But yeah, there are tutors that are available. You can always rely on your classmates, or make sure to stay in contact with your study coach, that you don't per se need to delay in your program, because those study delays do exist. I mean, you're coming here, you're in a new country, your mental health does get affected by these things, so you can experience some delays in your studies because of those things. But just make sure you're on time noticing them, and you can. There's always help available.
And it's okay. It's normal. And
it's very normal indeed.
It's always ask for help, and it's totally okay, because we have all the support system. Next questions. What part-time jobs are available for students to do while studying at Han?
What job do you do?
Yeah, but now you're doing an internship, right? But before, do you do any part-time job?
I'm also actually working still.
Oh, with an internship and a part-time job?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, there are quite two part-time jobs that I have now, so it's like two full-time jobs. Well, the job that I have currently, I work as a tutor and tutor coordinator for the program of tutoring. And it is basically a part-time job for the students, where you can teach peer-to-peer students who are backlinking with some of their studies due to maybe they don't like the subject, and that's it. But that's a quite enjoyable job. But I also worked before as in delivery. So there are plenty of jobs in delivery, but also like stores like Zara, H&M, they are always hiring to students to
But I'm curious though, was it hard to balance your doing a part-time job and study at the same time? Is that possible to balance the time?
In the first year, I think it would have been hard if I did that, because I did that, then I had a small backlog in my studies because of that. But I got my tutoring job in the second year, and by then I discovered how to manage my time better. So now it's not even a struggle with a full-time internship and then to have also a job. So I think now it's quite easy, and also with the studies it is the same.
So when do you recommend student having a part-time job?
I would recommend wait at least one semester. So around 6 months, get used to the country, get used to the system, and then start thinking about a job, because then you can already see how much time you can allocate to that one, which days would be convenient. Maybe you prefer to study during the week, and then in the weekend you can work, or the other way around. So there's plenty of options for it.
Yeah, totally agree on the first year, specifically on the first semester is really nice for you to just settle down, adapt, and make friends. I know some people wants to study here because they're allowed to do a part-time job, but our suggestion for the first semester, during your first semester, is good to just settle down and adapt. And you can try to find a part-time job on the second year or second semester of the first year. Yeah. Do we have another questions? Can you talk more about the Han intro? Maybe both of you can answer this question, but let's hear from the student perspective first for the Han intro. You experienced Han intro before a few years ago, don't you?
Yes, I experienced. Well,
and how was it?
I think about it, because by the time like the memories keep fading, but I think the Han intro, I didn't experience the full intro, because I also had to do the administrative work when you come here, papers, you have to register the city hall, then you also have to do all the bank accounts. But I experienced some trips with the Han intro and some guided tours, and I think that's quite a nice startup in your student life, because you already can get to know part of your teachers, your peer students. You also know where you can get all the support that you need. But also you can enjoy some nice activities around the campus, but also around Netherlands.
Yeah. maybe Mikaela can share what.
Yeah, of course. So as I mentioned before, there's the International Welcome Day.
Yeah.
That's an orientation day for internationals to know what they have to get done
Yeah.
within the Netherlands. And every program has their own introduction week. So there are different days that
Yeah.
you do different activities within the program, visits around the city, activities to get to know your classmates also. You also have parties at night that you can go to, and that's then because there's a nice party culture in the
Yeah, yeah.
Netherlands. They love to grab a beer.
Yeah.
So those are incorporated into the programs. Yeah, I wouldn't know. And there's a market here on campus,
Yeah.
an open air
Yeah, yeah.
environment where you can go to different organizations and ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit of the introduction.
Yeah, I would really suggest for the student who coming to study here, will join the Han intro because that's where you can get all the information
Yeah.
because it's really helpful even for me myself. Last year, 1 year ago, I was also a new student. I joined the Han intro. It was really helpful to explain what to do, where to do, when to do, and everything. So keep that in mind to not skip the Han introduction week. Yeah.
And it's a fun place. It's a fun time
It
to
is. Yeah.
meet your classmates, to
Exactly,
meet who
yeah.
you're gonna, and also the mentors, the buddies that are there. They're from the
Seniors,
previous
yeah, the
years.
previous year, yeah.
So you get to know, and you can ask them
Exactly.
questions also about the study.
Yeah, exactly. Nice, nice. So next question. Um, what surprised you the most at Han and living in the Netherlands?
Mm,
Let's start with the Han
Sure.
first. What surprised you studying at Han?
can you define a bit better the question? I think?
Like, while you're studying here, what makes you have maybe a culture shock in terms of studying here at Han?
Yeah. Well, a culture shock. Well, my cultural shock was that Dutch people are very direct
Oh, yeah,
compared to
yeah.
they are not indirect, and that was a really cultural shock to have everything really also kind of an informal way, even though it's formal.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was quite shock, and also be very direct. So you have
Mhm.
to address an issue directly, don't go around it, and then you get there, but like really complicated.
I think something that also that students at times, especially coming from a different country or a non-European
Yeah, yeah.
country, you address your professor by the first name. So it's you don't
Yeah,
address
yeah,
your
yeah,
professor by sir or madam,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the last name. It's really just a casual,
Yeah,
for example, Yuffie.
yeah, I
How are you
recognize
doing?
that. It's just,
Yeah.
at first when I came here, I call like professor, Miss, Mr. But like some of the European students, they just call the professor by their name, which is really hard for me to say that, but it's actually something normal.
Yeah,
But
it's very normal.
but yeah, now I'm in my second year. I'm used to it already. I call the teachers by name. It's totally okay. It's not disrespectful. It's totally fine,
Yeah,
right?
it's just part of the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's part of the culture. So, yeah, do we still have more questions? We'll see. Let me scroll.
Well,
Let's
how about
wait.
living here? Did you experience any?
With living, well, it was the fact that back home I used to live with my parents. Everything was done by them, and I had my own things, my own room, my own
Yeah,
everything. And now that I moved here, in the first year I used to share the apartment, and I was okay. Oh, we have to make some rules. We have to make some cleaning plans. We have to find a way to live together and to work together. So that was a bit tough for me, but that's more personal because I wasn't
Yeah.
used to that.
Also, about before we mentioned about the culture shock studying at hand is like we call the professor name by name, but what about living in the Netherlands generally, other than the person is direct? Do you have any culture shock living in the Netherlands compared to your home country?
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Culture shock in
in
Netherlands.
the Netherlands.
Well, I don't know. I could say the food was
The food?
something that like struck to me because I'm used to having like breakfast, like normal breakfast was like milk and cereals, and then
Yeah.
at the lunch we used to have worm food,
A big
something
meal,
cooked
yeah,
soup,
yeah.
and here when you come, I was okay, sandwiches and everything,
Yeah, yeah.
and pasta, and that was like a pretty big shock to me because I'm still not used to that. Every time, everywhere I go, and it's lunch, I'm almost the only one in the restaurant who's ordering soup and everything, and the others I see them something that I would call a snack, not properly a lunch.
Yeah, I do also recognize that like mostly the Dutch people only eat a warm meal on the evening for dinner. For like breakfast and for lunch, you all usually just have sandwich bread. Back home, I always have 3 warm meal each day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something that I need to adapt when I first came here. So, Wilty, do you have more questions? I think that's all. I think we have answered all the questions. We received all the questions. So I would like to summarize what we've discussed, what we've talked today. The difference between a University of Applied Sciences like the Han and a research university is that University of Applied Science is more focused on applying the theory into practices. So it's more practical. And also we have a lot of great campus facilities. We have the place to study, to hang out. We have a sport facility, and yeah, we really have a great campus facility, and we also have a student support when it's needed. So yeah, we're coming to the end of our first live talk session. First of all, I want to say thank you, Mikaela and Alex, for joining us
Thank
today.
you for having
Thank
us.
you.
And also thank you for the people at home for joining us today for our first live talk show. But I'll see you again on the second live talk show, and we're going to talk about the admission, the visa, and the housing. So yeah, wish you good luck for choosing your journey to the right university, and I'm looking forward for you to welcome in our campus, and I'll see you on the second live talk show. Thank you, everyone.